let me get myself set up here. I forgot to bring up my own screen so I can monitor the chat. So give me a moment. How is everybody out there? Um, this show tonight is for those of you who are having absolutely nothing else to watch before the Super Bowl, if you follow that. So if you're here tonight, I do appreciate it. You spending your time here. Time is a precious thing, as I always say, and you spending a little bit of yours with me is always greatly appreciated. All right, very good. Let's do a welcome here. And we are all set. Very good. Good to see everybody. Welcome to the Upstairs to the Right music channel for this pre-Super Bowl live stream we're doing here. If you're into that, hello to you, Mr. Watson. Hello to you, Scott. How you guys doing? Good to see you this evening. I'm so glad that you were able to make it tonight, as always. Good to see you guys. While we wait for more people to show up here in the live stream, I will discuss things that have been going on here. Ben, hey, how you doing, sir? Welcome. Hope you're great too, sir. A lot of things going on here, a lot of movement. Um, I am going to remodel my area here that I do the live streams from. You'll see it from a different angle than this one, but I'm going to rearrange this area and clean up this area up because I'm going to start shooting more of my regular content here. So I've moved the Laney out of that room, got it stuck under here. Can stay there for a minute right now. I'll either use that or the board to do demos from. That spot that I've been shooting since I've been here, I'm going to use that really exclusively, really just for my playing area. I'm going to put a nice, comfortable chair there and shoot still photography for the guitars that come through. Mostly for my Instagram. You can follow me Upstairs to the Right Music on Instagram if you're interested in that sort of thing. But yeah, I'm upgrading things here, changing some things around, cleaning up a little bit. Going into our 5th year here in the Netherlands, time to change things up a little bit again. We've changed a few times. And so I'm looking forward to that. I got some lighting and things that I will do to make it look interesting. But I'm looking forward to doing that. I've got 2 guitars coming in this week. Hopefully they'll be here before the next live stream on Wednesday. I have 2 Grecos coming in. I have the Greco SE 600, the SE 600, which has the U-stamp pickups in it. So those are my favorite pickups, as you guys know. This one's from 1976. And a Greco Rickenbacker 750 copy, the RG 750. These are getting harder to find. As it turns out, interestingly enough, the prices of Rickenbackers are really going through the roof. And even these Greco copies from the 1970s are starting to finding nice ones in good condition are getting harder and harder to find. Hey, Mr. Rogers in the house. How you doing, sir? Good to see you, Frederick. Yeah, they're getting harder and harder to find. I came across 2 in my guitar safari this month. The RG 750, and I found an RG 550. The RG 550 is the same guitar as the Ibanez 3328. Which the prices of those are going through the roof as well, right along, because it's, again, a Rickenbacker copy. And so I found one. And so we're going to have not 1, but 2 different models of Rickenbacker copies from Greco from the 1970s coming through here this month. First one will be here, like I said, in a few days. So got to look forward to, guys. I've never played a 3 pickup Rickenbacker before. It's a copy of John Lennon's Rickenbacker. It is the John Lennon Rickenbacker, by the way. And so I better practice up on playing some Beatles tunes. Maybe I'll learn Ticket to Ride. That guitar. Um, yeah, so interesting enough, guys, that'll be coming up. So yeah, just the reason I've been slow on putting out any regular content is because I've been retooling around here. Um, so I'm excited about that. It's always good. It's good to have a fresh image. So I think we got enough people in the live stream now, people darting in and out. So I appreciate it if you guys always remember to hit the like button. Helps with the YouTube algorithm. Before we get started here tonight, um, if you haven't done so, do so please. I appreciate it. Thank you so much. Whether you're watching this live or in the live stream, I want to welcome everybody tonight. Maddie Two Hats in the house. Hey sir, how you doing? So glad to have you here, Maddie, my man. I got my two mods here tonight. That's awesome. So really, I thought I had kind of put a nail in the coffin of this. Christina, fly, Eagles fly. We'll see. We will see. Rock and roll for the people, Maddie says. That's right. I agree with that. We'll see what happens with that. I wouldn't put any money on it either way. Either way, Taylor Swift comes out on top. So I guess that's all that's important. Shout out to Camden. I can do that, Christine. No problem. No problem. I thought I put a nail in this subject, and I do bring it up from time to time because I really want to take up a little bit. I think everybody, all of us on YouTube who have a guitar channel, should all take up the torch that Mike over at China Guitar Skeptics had before he passed away, and occasionally talk about Chibsons and keep that message that he was so stridently trying to put out there to us alive. If you look on YouTube and you type in Chibson, there are a significant. Now, guys, I've tried to do this nicely and tried to be polite. I might drop the occasional F-bomb tonight in order to drive my points home. So this one definitely isn't for the kids tonight. But I will try to remain civil here in the onset of this discussion. But there are a lot of YouTube channels that guys are showing off their Chibsons. And well, I took a Chibson and I put $1,000 worth of Gibson parts in it, the pickups, all electronics, all the pots, the caps, the usual bone, nut, all that stuff. And it's better than an Epiphone, the guy says. It's not quite a Gibson, but it's better than an Epiphone. This is just hilarious to me because, you're talking about you put 1,500, including the cost of Gibson, into that equation there, and you could have had a Gibson, which is hilarious. I just never understand. You can look at it 6 ways a Sunday, but I can never find a cognitive, real, okay, I can get that, reason behind buying a Gibson. Temu. Okay, so let me back up, rewind. So, you guys know recently I've been talking about getting all your parts. And, I'm putting together that parts caster of mine, that 2001 Squire Affinity that's been taken apart and now put back together again. But I want to do gold hardware on it. And to my horror, I realized that I have no gold screws at all. So no screws for the plate. No, I got gold screws for the trim system, but for the plates, nada, zip, zero, zil. Not good. Also, for the jack, So I said, okay, let me think about ordering some. And of course, you can go on eBay. Didn't really find what I was looking for. There's a couple of places that I looked, But well, let me look at Temu because, and I don't feel that that's something that, if you spend a minimum of $20, you can get something shipped for free from Temu. So I usually get whatever little bits and parts that I want, and then something like for the pet, for my dog, like a collar or something, just to get it up to $20. And one of the first things that popped up in my feed was a new selection of electric guitars. Now, I knew before that Temu sold electric guitars. They were of questionable brands, but they were branded of Chinese brands, usually Strat style, generally Strat style, some acoustic guitars. And that was that. And you wouldn't see anything else. Well, in my feed appeared a guitar that I looked at, and I said, "Holy crap! That looks like a Gibson standard, the modern, with a bit of a cut in the back, in order to give it a little bit more comfort." And I looked at the pictures, and I noticed when they took a picture of the back, they showed the back of the headstock, where in the background, if you zoom in, you could see where it was made in the USA stamp with the Gibson serial number that usually starts from 2014. I know that's if you see a Gibson with a 2014 serial number, always question it, because that's the serial number they always use from 2014. I know that much. And of course, on the front side, they were obscuring the headstock, but you could really see Les Paul on stenciled in, up between the tuners. And it blew my mind. MVA, why even buy chips in the first place? The Epiphone these days are just as good, and they ain't much. They don't cost much more. I agree. And welcome. Thank you for tuning in, man. I appreciate you chatting, joining the chat here. I agree totally. But to see it on Temu blew my mind. I said, wait a minute. I thought that these guys were supposed to be on the up and up, somewhat. And they were going to be putting down a ban on sending out counterfeit goods. And they were selling these for about 300 euros. Let's just say roughly $300. I think that's about right. Somewhere in the neighborhood, 300 euros. And I don't know the conversion in my head offhand. And they looked the part. I would say that. Temu was awesome, not gonna lie. I bought a car case there 2 years ago for only $30. Yeah, for stuff like that, I don't have, again, like I said, I went there initially when I found this for some gold screws for a guitar project that I'm working on. I have no objections to cases, the screws, or bits and pieces, parts and things like that. But when you're selling a guitar stamped Gibson, Sam, how you doing? Welcome. Good to have you here. Welcome, welcome. Talking about Chibsons tonight. I thought I was done with this subject. Howdy, my N-word. What is topic? Hello, my N-word. This topic. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. You gave me a giggle there. My apparently Russian friend, or some language there. I can't see. I don't have my glasses, guys. I'm getting old. I'm too vain to read, to put on my reading glasses when I'm doing a live stream. Seriously, guys, they're selling. I blew my mind. It really blew my mind, and I immediately sat down and came up with tonight's topic. So Temu sells Chibsons now. What the F? With the U.S. imposing new tariffs on Chinese imports, is this the reason why all of a sudden you have these popping, Temu having these Chibsons pop up on their feed? You gotta wonder. They're like, well, it's economic war at this point. How much are these Chibsons? They were going for $300 and on up. $300 for and $600 for their ES335 copy. Not Russian, that's Greek. Oh, nice. Welcome from Greece. I'm sorry, like I said, I can't see me. My eyes are not great, but I can say to you, welcome. You're giving a shout out from Greece. Welcome to you, sir. $300 hard pass. Yeah, the $100 50 guitars on Amazon come a long way. They're great. I agree, MVA. Either way, it's not even, you're passing on it. The reason you should pass on it, I'm going to talk about tonight. Because really, I think that this is a sort of a warfare. They've put such a huge tariff on Gibson for selling their guitars over into China. Now Temu is, you know what, we're going to sell Chibsons, on Temu, and as a kind of a counterpoint to that, we're going to flood your market with counterfeits, and even if that's not successful, probably they're forced in that position because of the fact that those tariffs have been put in place, and they're checking each and every single solitary package that comes through the United States Post Office that comes from China. So the Temu may pivot may also be part of that as well. You never know. But I think all of that is probably true. Ben, I haven't been on Temu in a long while, but it wouldn't surprise me if you can buy fentanyl on there. The ingredients anyway. No problem. I appreciate it. You're a pro musician. Yes, sir, I am. For 40 years now. For 42 years now. MVA. I thought Temu always had them. No, I've never seen them before. I've never seen this before. This was the first for me. People would say in some of those YouTube videos I was watching on chips and guitars and trying to nail down where they were getting them from, it mostly came from sketchy websites and Facebook, links. And Temu, there's some guys say, well, I bought it on Temu, but no. And if it has been available there, it hasn't been within the last, when was the last time? Was that 6 months? Months or so, maybe a year, 6 months to a year. So it's quite surprising. So let's talk about this. Temu has, I guess in a way, like I mentioned there, is trying to change the game a little bit by making them available through their platform, especially when a lot of those packages, by the way, that go into the United States do not go through the United States Post Office. Some of them go through FedEx and UPS. So there's that. So I think if it's a game of tit for tat, then in that regard, I would say that the export of China, or the increased, or the implied allowing of these to go out through a platform like Temu, the superior kind of move in that situation between the two, because Gibson, on the other hand, they can't sell their guitars in China, and so there's that. Not Temu, but for sure AliExpress. Yes, AliExpress for sure. You can absolutely find them on AliExpress. And so, are these any good guitars? No. I watched quite a few, half a dozen of those. I got a Temu guitar, and I looked at them, and every one of them complained about anything from paint job, which I found hilarious that you're complaining about a paint job on a Chibson. Electronics, of course, alignments of something even as simple as the pick guard. I'm sorry, not the pick guard. The pickup covers, things like that. But it's still awesome. It's still it looks good. But I will start this conversation out again by reminding everyone, including those who have a Chibson, and I know some of you guys out there have one or two, And I'm not really crapping on you because I know you know what I'm going to say tonight. You're probably taking steps to make sure that what I'm going to talk about doesn't happen. But for those guys out there who are just a little bit too happy-go-lucky with this, you know, you, you got to know in the back of your mind that what you put into it, $2,000 worth of Gibson parts, it's still a fake. You're always gonna. You cannot convince me that you can sit across the room, look like I do. Like in there where I have my guitar set up, I can look from my couch, look over at them, and I know what each one is, and none of them are fakes. But if I looked over and I saw a Les Paul, in my mind, I knew that I got that for $300 from Temu. Who am I trying to fool? I'm not fooling myself. I might fool you, and if I'm trying to fool you, then why do I care? Why would I? And even worse, we're going to talk about that. Warp necks, I talked about, fake truss rods, electronic disasters, and the damage. The damage that the used market has when these go onto it. Not trying to be mean. Yeah, I am a little bit. But a lot of those cats I saw, and a lot of those, I got a Chibsons videos, looked like they were about one McRib away from a serious heart attack. I'm just saying. And I doubt anybody in their immediate family knows what's what. And again, those instruments through that process, can easily, hey, I'm not going to sell it. I'm never going to let it go. Well, what happens when you die? What is that song? When you're gone, you're gone. So let the times roll. You let the good times roll. Now you're done, and your family has no idea what they have. And it could go to a pawn shop. It could go anywhere. Go to somebody seeing it on Reverb or somewhere. This stuff is getting pervaded. It's really starting to get. There's so many fake there, guys. It's great. It's scary. It's one of the reasons why I like dealing with Japanese guitars from the '70s, from Japan, because that's still a marketplace that has not been inundated with fakes. But Europe certainly has. United States, Canada certainly has. So there's that. Now, Gibson has a legal right to go in and call them out on this, but with the current trade wars going on between the United States and China, will it make even a difference? Probably no. All right, let me catch up here in the chat. Do you work with traditional music instruments like Persian instruments or banjo? I wrote music for TV commercials. I had to score a lot of different themes, a lot of different styles. I used a lot of different instruments. I used quite a few. Even in some of my productions, I used a lot of Persian instruments. Absolutely. Absolutely, without question. Temu, I heard, makes money because they have this loophole that they use, allows them to ship all the drives back and forth. Yes, it's a minimalist law, the minimalist law, which means if any package falls below $800, it'd have to go through the usual customs and VATs and things that would apply to most packaging. However, for example, here in Europe, in the Netherlands, the import stuff that I get from Japan, I've got to pay a VAT on. I just paid a VAT yesterday, as a matter of fact, for this shipment of guitars that's coming through. Even though it falls below that threshold, they put a VAT on just about everything. If I get a 25-cent pencil imported in, they're going to put a VAT on it. So it's a little stricter here. Terry 3Gs, I took a Chibsons Zach Wild LP custom as a curiosity and trade. I stripped away almost a half inch of acrylic to reveal it was a totally different guitar underneath I thought I had. Is that a Fuzzrite pedal back there? No, that's my Fender pedal. A legit maple neck, refinished and actually labeled with the Chibsons. Yeah, I have no problem with people who relabel it. or a burned fake in the back. There's so many things that you could do. Get it? I enjoy it. Just put fake on the back so it's clear and legible. You don't have to put it on the front. You can keep it, saying Gibson on the front. But in the back, scratch out the serial number and write fake underneath in a marker. Nobody will ever see it because the back is and enjoy your Chibson. But if something happens to you, everybody knows it's a fake. But really, you should. Why would you do that when there's a lot of alternatives out there on the market? It's not really worth the time. And I put Gibson stuff on it. Yeah, I heard you. I hear you. I got no objections with if you come across one in the wild, you didn't buy it, like direct from China, it just comes across your table, and you're like, you know what, I'm going to do something with this, and I'm going to make sure that it doesn't go out in the wild again, as a fake Gibson. I'm going to make it my own and make sure it's marked accordingly. That's actually a cool thing to do, and I applaud that, to be frank with you. That's a very cool thing to do because they're going to be out there in the wild. But if you don't know how to identify them, you're going to get screwed. You're going to get screwed. I have a Swire Strat that says "fuck caster" on the headstock. I love it. Fucker caster. I love it. Yep, well said, Terry says. Thank you. That's a funny one, man. Well, what is the future of Chibsons in this regard? As I mentioned in the opening of this, I speculated that with a lot of them did come through the U.S. Post Office. I do know that. Yeah, I know about the Epsi thing. I get Squire. I had a set of Squire replacement logos made on Epsi for some of the restoration work that I was doing earlier on a Squire. Those are really nice and very inexpensive. Yeah, $12, really super cheap. Seamus O'Brien in the house. Hope you are doing well. I am doing well, sir. I appreciate you asking, man. And it is good to see you, Seamus. Welcome. Cheers to you, sir. Again, this tit for tat. This is what I'm talking about, guys. Well, this is what I was talking about. I was mentioning this weeks ago before the war started. I said, guys, this is going to have interesting implications. And I think, although it appears that it's been going on for a few months now, but this introduction of Chibsons on Temu is definitely a strike against the bow. It's saying we're going to flood your market with these cheap instruments. And if we send 100 of them, not 100, if we send 5 of them, then we know if even 3 of them get through, good. We've accomplished something there. Because that strikes a blow directly against a U.S. company like Gibson. And you guys say to yourself, well, that's just something out of a Tom Clancy novel. No, things really are that petty. Think of the pettiest shit you can think of, and that's really how these guys act. I hate to say that it's more sophisticated than that, but it all boils down to just pettiness. And this pettiness will extend out into a lot of different things. Me some Tom Clancy novels. Well, who doesn't? And like the Pelican Brief, for example. I think that, I like that book. Honestly, this pettiness has tentacles that will go out into a lot of different directions. And this, however, does not make it easier for Temu. Of course, like I said, on the American side, they're going to be checking the packages in the places that they have indicated that they will, and they may apply pressure to FedEx and to UPS to do the same. We're going to put pressure on you kind of administration we got going here, as we all seen. So again, not something that's too fanciful, something that is quite possibly happening or has already happened. Is every brand on Temu a knockoff? No, Sam. Um, a lot of stuff, a lot of people source a lot of different things from factories in China. And so some of that stuff, actually is Chinese, but gets rebranded on this end. Interestingly enough, it works the other way around. It's not really until again, until you start getting to something like this, where it's a blatant, obvious Chipson. It's got made in USA stamped in the back. No, it wasn't. What did you import it from the States and then you're exporting it back from China after you did what? Yeah, so it's a little bit different story. Um, what's up with the egg prices going up? Yeah, in the States it's eggs. Over in Japan, believe it or not, it's rice. Isn't that very interesting? Eggs, a very, very, very common staple in the United States in the West. And in Japan, rice, a very common staple with them. So what's up with that is indeed a very good question. Run riot in the house, sir. How you been? Haven't been able to make it in a while. Glad to see your surgery went. Yes, sir, it did. And I am recovering. Honestly, guys, I'm feeling better. And I appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Nine Factory, multiple brands, classic. Yeah. So, it goes both ways with that. But this could actually, though, spell the end for Chipsons. And I'm not going to say I'm sorry. If they have no place to sell them, or if in the places that they do sell them, the tariffs are high enough to dissuade them, some places as a market, then they'll go away. The Japanese don't want them. You don't see Japanese ordering Chipsons. Show me one video on YouTube of anybody else other outside of North America, maybe the UK, Scotland, that owns a Chipson. Show me anybody else that made a video. And since I read, write, and speak Japanese, I tie that in, and I cannot find one. Not one. They don't buy them. They're not interested in them. Why would they? Why would they? So they can get more expensive, believe it or not, or completely disappear. And AliExpress did do a crackdown on Chipsons. That's one of the sketchy websites, as I said, that you could buy these. I call it sketchy because you can buy sketchy things there. And AliExpress did do a crackdown on chips. And apparently, to whatever, to moderate success, I would say. But apparently, it has moved over to Temu. Will Temu do the same thing? Don't know. What happens if Temu shuts down or is banned in the United States? A possibility too. See, like I said, it's all of these trade and tariff wars do nothing but cause imbalances and disruptions, and even in the illicit, Chipson market. Even that gets affected. Nobody goes unscathed in this situation. That's funny to me, man. That cracks me up, because even the Chipson market is getting up the rear end on this one. Yeah, dig that, man. Just dig that. Just dig that for a minute. A lot of Chinese eBay sellers I follow that have U.S. warehouses are going on massive sales. Yeah, they got a clear house because they know what's coming. You see that too. I have here my Harley Benton custom, their custom, their SG custom copy with these new pickups that I put in. And again, a $300 guitar, including the pickups. That it's a Harley Benton. I've done some work on it. I redid the wire, I redid the switch, redid the pickups, changed the tuners, did some things to it myself. But it's not a Chipson, it's Harley Benton. It's a guitar that has some name notoriety to and of itself. They are inexpensive enough at $300 that I would rock and be proud on stage to rock over a Chipson. I bring this out as just an example. This is exactly the cost, including the new pickups, because these are a set of two pickups from GFS pickups for $70, and on a 200, and $50, so a little bit over 320, whatever, but still $300 range. And when I look across the room at it, I'm actually happy with it. I took a decent guitar that's not a counterfeit. Imagine they started counterfeit Harley Benton's. That day may come some way down in the future. But in any case, and I put a little bit of, not a lot of into it again, but I put enough where I could do a lot of work myself that kept the cost down. And it's a guitar that I'm proud of, that I can record with. It's good enough to record with at this point. Harley Benton guitars are cool. Some of them come with golder tuners. Yeah, it makes me appreciate the crappy brands like Harley Benton, Donner, Glary. At least they change the headstock and shapes enough to not be infringing, and they put their own name. Yeah, they're proud enough to put their own. See, the guy who's not proud enough to put his own name on those Chibsons tells you a lot about the guy who made those Chibsons too. And there are some cats in China who are proud to put their name on the Harley Benton, in Indonesia, in India, and the other places that are proud to put their names on their. It may not have the cachet of a Gibson or a Fender, but they're trying to pretend like they are. And I can respect that too. Sam says, Scott, 100% right. Yes, sir, you are. Should people stop buying these Chibsons? Hell yeah. I can't say it enough. There's no reason to buy a Chibson unless you have a fake Gibson. There is no reason because if that same $300, you can have this guitar. And let me tell you something, this sounds excellent. Sounds great. Love it. Finally found a set of pickups that make sense on this guitar. This guitar takes two. Didn't spend a lot of money on it, $300 or so to get to that point. And again, it's not a counterfeit. Why would I take that same $300 that I put into this, that I can hold up in front of you guys and say, hey, look at this. And, as opposed to holding up a Chibson and say, hey guys, look at my fake, Les Paul. Would you respect me? Am I doing that to earn your respect? And in turn, would you respect me? See, I don't understand the psychology of buying a Chibson. Maybe it's just the way that I'm built or the way that I perceive things, but I can't mind fuck myself. I can't do a Jedi mind trick on myself to convince myself that fake Chibson in the corner is a Gibson. I don't have it. This is not the Chibson you're looking for. I got Admiral Akbar. It's a trap. It's a trap. That's what I get. So it doesn't work. These are not legitimate alternatives for budget guitars, is the point of that. These are not, I will say it again, legitimate alternatives to budget guitars. They're not. Because there's great budget guitars now. We are in the golden age of the budget guitar. And that is without question. You can get some awesome guitars for $300. Why spend it over on Temu for a friggin' Chibson? Unless you absolutely you couldn't. Some people will say, well, I could afford a Gibson. I just didn't want to give Gibson my money. So it's okay for you to break intellectual property laws and put yourself, by the way, I looked it up again just to refresh myself on it. It's a $5,000 fine or 1 year in jail. 5 grand or 1 year in jail. And you can scale from there if you're doing large numbers. And is it worth that? You know, in the States? Over here in Europe, I'm pretty sure it's about the same. Pretty sure. I would rather play air guitar than play a Chibson. I agree. The best Chinese guitar I have is a Bad Cat branded Les Paul copy. Yeah, the Bad Cat. I almost, when I was in my initial, still trying to figure my business out, buying spree, and just buying willy nilly without thinking about what I should be buying, I wanted to get a Bad Cat because I thought it was just a cool friggin' guitar. And I almost got one. I didn't because I stopped that because I said, Michael, you need to start looking into Japanese vintage guitars, not the more modern ones that you can get from over there. So I didn't pull the trigger on one, but that's on my bucket list. I like that guitar. Made in China. And they look cool. I just like them. So there's that. You know, I just really, honestly, in my heart of hearts, think that there are so many alternatives out there for that $300 to be spent. I stick to Squires and Ibanez or Epiphones. The only Gibson I have is the SG Tribute in walnut. Oh, that's a nice one. I think it was $9.99 when I got a new. Yeah, man. There was a red, the standard SG red Tribute. I ran into. Well, I guess it's had to be about 7 years ago now, 6 years ago, in LA last time I was there, and for $700, I think they wanted $750, something like that. And to this day, I regret not picking up because I think those Les Paul Tributes at that price, even up to $99, I think that those were good deals. I think those were really good guitars. Yeah, I import and export wonderful guitars all the time and sell them. My personal guitars are, Squires and coming up here in a minute, Parts Casters. I don't, and Harley Benton here, one Harley Benton, and yeah, two Squires, yeah. So I'm not a highfalutin type guy, but I do know quality guitars. I've had some exceptional, some of the best of made in Japan guitars coming through here. This month you will see more. But for me personally, I've gotten beyond the headstock. I want something that sounds good recording, which is my primary focus. That's what I do. I don't play live. But I'd like to have a guitar if I do go live, or if I get called to play live, or if I get called to the studio by somebody else to record, that I know it's not gonna, fluff out on me, that it's gonna be a great guitar. And that is independent upon what is on the headstock. Really, at the end of it, to tell the truth, it comes down to me just as a guitar player and a producer. But let's not go down that path. Everything got more expensive after COVID. Yeah, can't print all that money and not expect something to happen. Mike, is there any airlines that you wouldn't trust with gear and cargo? Apparently United are known for breaking guitars low. Yes, I absolutely would not trust most American carriers. Got to be frank with you. Those guys are heavy-handed. Best ones that I've run into were Singapore Airlines and Korean Air. Had no problems with those two. Oh, and believe it or not, I can't even believe it if I'm saying it myself, but also KLH, or the Dutch Airlines here, KLM. hey, I'll tell you what, Run Riot, they won't only break your guitar, they'll lose your dog. They've lost pets. Okay, so no. The guy that makes a song about United Airlines when he smashed his guitar. Yeah. I love parts casters. Have you tried guitar fetish bodies? No. My bodies. One of the things that I always say with my parts casters is that I wanted is to start off from a Squire SE bodies because those are well known for being good jumping off parts. So my part caster body came from a 2003 Squire SE. These are full size bodies. This one we thought was making an agathis. It's a solid agathis bottle body, but the more and I learned, especially when we did the routing look into it, it's actually looking like it could possibly be something else, like outer or something like that. So, you know, there's that. Will I get another guitar coming up here of my own? Yeah, I like I said, I've got plans. I'm still looking for a hard disk recorder. Um, I would still like to have one vintage Japanese guitar that I keep for myself, although I keep finding one that I think I'm going to keep, but then, no. It's not, the timing isn't right, or I change my mind. But honestly speaking, I would go for any of those. And you can get those for under $500, including shipping. Some of them, dig deep enough. Before I've got a friggin', you can get a 335 copy Ibanez for that same money from 1970. $600 for an Ibanez 335 copy 70s, or $600 for a Temu Gibson Chibson 335 copy. You make that call. I really would question your sanity if you chose anything other than that Ibanez. Seriously question you. Sons of Maxwell were that band. I buy Squires, but I always sell the neck and keep the bodies. All my necks are fenders. I hate narrow nut Squires. Yeah. That was the problem. I took that Affinity neck and I had it on that SE body for a minute, but that narrow nut was just bothering me too much. I ended up getting a full size neck, 22 fret neck for it, like it originally came with. So it'd be nice. And even with that, guys, as some guys will put Squire on the neck because it's a Squire body, and they say, well, it's basically a Squire, so I'm going to put Squire up on the headstock, and I have Squire decals here. I could do that, but I don't want to, because again, in my mind, that's a parts caster. That's not a Squire. So I don't want to do that. That's how strongly I feel about contributing. What if I die? And, suddenly. And my family has to figure things out, and they cross that Squire and they give it to somebody. Oh, they take this Squire. It's the real deal, and it's not. I even on a $200 or $300 level, I don't want to be responsible for any kind of deception. So I will put something else on the headstock. I'm thinking about branding my logo on that I designed on the headstock. I think that would look cool, as opposed to even a sticker, a decal. But again, there's that. I want to go to Japan and buy a bunch of Fernandez and Edwin guitars. Shipping back to the States is so expensive, though. Might step them in the logic. Yeah, you can take one guitar in a case. Some airlines, they have a special area that's just for those things that's separate from the regular belt. You go over to a special area, hand it over to them, and they actually put it on the airline by hand. It doesn't get tossed in like the luggage. At least not that rough. Or If you're flying business, if you're flying business class, you can ask the stewardess to put it in the closet, especially if you brought in a soft bag or a semi-hard case. They'll put it in the coat uh, section of the airplane. If you're flying business class, you're flying coach, and you're really good looking, you can sweet talk a stewardess, then she'll do the same. I've done both. So those are some things that you can do. Many viewers, Seamus says, are calling the new fender standards made in Indonesia fenders by Squire. Have you tried one yet? Yeah, we had a big discussion on the last live stream about that shit, what I thought about those. I looked into it extensively. I know I will not be buying one new. I will be buying one used because I believe when they do, and they will, inevitably hit the used market, their used price will reflect their true value. In that case, I think that you're getting a value. Do I think that it's a rebranded Squire? Yes and no. Uh, they're equating it to an Infinity. That is incorrect. It is nothing like Infinity. It's a full-size body. It's full-size nut, the whole nine. No, but what it is, it's nowhere near as good as a Squire Custom Vibe. The Squire Custom Vibe is such a better guitar, ironically made in the same factory, that it makes no sense. It makes no sense. Really, I've never flown with a guitar. That's good to hear. Yeah, you can do that. Player 2, I love them. They have pre-roll Fridays. Yeah, but you can roll them yourself. I wouldn't buy new, I agree. I say no to Chibsons, Tokai for the win. I agree, Tokai for the win. Guys, I have got the most gorgeous candy apple red Tokai on its way this month that I've ever had. It is a Silver Star in a hard case like this. The interior of that hard case is green. So much so that I'm probably going to swap this hard case here, which is also an 80s hard case. It's got a red interior on it. I'm going to probably keep the case that the Tokai is shipping in and swap it for this case when I sell it. Because I like that Tokai case. It is such a cool interior. I've never seen one like it before. And that Tokai Silver Star that's coming, the SS50. So it's a pretty good. It's not a lower level one. It's getting up there, and it is just a freaking beauty. And again, you can have that guitar yourself if you dig one up for under $500 US, and you would fool, including shipping. You'd be a fool to do anything else. I don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm not the only one who sprays cologne inside the guitar case. Well, it depends on what you're carrying in that case. what you're trying to hide, Willie. Yeah, you guys check it out. That'll be in the second shipping. The shipment that's coming this week that I hope to show you guys in the upcoming Wednesday live stream is the John Lennon Greco Rickenbacker copy from the 70s that I got. I really think that you guys are going to dig that. I'm excited about that because, again, I've never played a Rickenbacker like this in my life. So I'm interested in that. But again, these are guitars that I would rather have over a Chibson. And plus they're vintage on top of that. How could you, it really is a mentality, just to just say more time. You want the Chibson because for some reason you want to have a fake Gibson. And I can't even begin to understand the neuroses that you have to, involved to get to that destination where you would want to spend your hard-earned money on something like that. And then not only just do that, but shoot a YouTube video about it, showing it off to the world. That's a special kind of somebody, in my opinion. And, I don't get it. I don't get it. And so please don't buy Chibsons. Don't take this as an advertorial to jump onto Temu and buy a Chibson because they're there now. Don't buy it. Don't do it. I'm showing you so many. I'm discussing and literally showing you, physically showing you, so many other options, the things that you can get for that $300 over that chips and guitar and Temu that you'd be happy with and you'd be proud of, and you wouldn't look at it and say, he's like, you know, I heard this case out of China. You know, I don't know why this stuff comes up into my YouTube feed about this cat who was married for 10 years, had kids, did a paternity test and found out none of them were his. And he said, you know, now when I look at those children, I don't even want to look at them. They're they didn't even the stepchildren to me. You know, and why would you want to do your guitar collection? Because you know that's just like he knew those wasn't his kids. You know that that's not a Gibson. So why? Why would you do that? Why would you do that? Don't do that. Don't do it. Stop. Stop it. It's like putting a Lexus badge on a Toyota. Yeah, it's a lot. It's like a lot of things. You know. It's not right. Sam, I was weak. I bought a Fender Standard Strat Reverb for $5. Hey, that's not weak. It's not a Chipson. And there's nothing wrong. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong buying it new. I just think that the price on those secondhand is going to be far better. They are certainly not going to be going up in price. So much like the car that you drive off the dealership, it has a depreciation on it. But as long as you get it and you love it and you're good with it, that's good. I don't think it's bad guitar per se. I just think that there are better options out there, unfortunately. But Sam, I would love to hear your review on it when you get a chance. From personal experience, I could see it as a guitar that I would get. I think it's a good modding platform at around $375. I think that around $375. Yeah, lots of $250 Mexican Fenders in LA. Yeah, that's true. It may even end up being because you can get a Mexican Fender for $250, and because these are Indonesian Fenders who we initially looked down upon, they may even go lower. You may get a $200. You can get one for $200. It could go that way. It could go that way. So I'm waiting for used. But if you bought a new, more power to you, bro. I always say, I would rather you buy a Fender or a Gibson or a Gretsch anything than a Chipson whatever. Which is the point of tonight's discussion. Is that you really, really need to stop it with the Chipsons. You know, there is no sane, logical argument that you could put forward to any thinking person that would persuade them in from you down the path of buying a Chipson. Yeah. I'll go broke hoarding them. Yeah, just be careful with that. Don't get gas on that. You know, find, like I said, you just need one or two guitars that you have a bonding with at the end of the day anyway. You know. Yeah, it's like that dude in China, man. You're always going to be looking at them kids like, I know they're not mine, you know. Bitter taste in the back of your mouth. So don't do it. Don't do that to your guitar collection. Don't start looking at it like, okay, I got too many Chipsons now, like some of these cats. You know, it's not even, and then, you know, don't even throw this Slash guitar was a Gibson counterfeit copy down in the comments below either. Don't do that. Don't even insult my intelligence with that statement. Because you and I both know there's a difference between a Chipson and a Derringer guitar. Those are two friggin' different animals. 365 days a year for the last millennia. You know, so don't even try that. Nah, man, there's just no. I watch YouTube videos where people try to sell Chipsons at Gibsons to pawn shops. Yeah, all day long. You can go to the Pawn Star type videos, the different pawn shops guys who point that out. You're not going to fool them. You think that this is the first chips in there? You think that that's going to work? There are telltale signs on the Chibson, starting up with the headstock logo itself and its placement, and the Les Paul script and its place. For some reason, they never get that right. They never get that right. I mean, if you're gonna go all the way to fake something, but that just again shows you big difference between a Derringer Les Paul that Slash played and a Chibson that Joe Fat Stuff down the block is playing. Sorry, big different thing. Huge, huge difference. At least I'm not buying meth. Maddie, man, you always write something that cracks me up from the first two, syllables. Is when I tell my wife when I come home with a Mexican strat. Oh man, that's gold, man. Man for the win tonight, man. Like that one. Like that one. Funny stuff. Yeah, guys, don't do it, man. Don't do it. I can't believe that I had to have this discussion tonight, but when I saw that yesterday on Temu, it blew my mind, man. It blew my mind. I said, get the fuck out of here. I couldn't believe it. I was like zooming in on the pictures just to look to make sure I was looking at what I was looking at. And I was looking at what I was looking at. I was looking at a friggin' Chibson on Temu. So, NBA gets credit for best quality. I agree. I don't want to take it away. I don't want to take that. That was funny. That's funny, NBA. That's a funny one. I'm sorry I said Maddie. I meant to say NBA. I just cannot phantom it, guys. And I have tried to play devil's advocate and put, you always try to walk around somebody else's shoes. You should always try to at least say, okay, let me try and understand where this is coming from. But, hey, Sam, thank you so much. I appreciate that. God bless you, man. Thank you so much. I've tried to play devil's advocate on this, but I just can't, man. I can't. I can't do it. Can't do it. Doesn't make any sense to me. I'm sorry. So there is that, guys. One to throw out there. Like I said, I'm remodeling things, so I'm going to start shooting stuff from here. I'm going to be running my guitars through the pedal board, unfortunately, my computer software, until I'm able to get a hard disk recorder. I've pretty much well settled down to the Tascam DP24 SD, because to be frank with you, 24 tracks is where I need to be. I have found one, but it's not a priority right now. But it is on my bucket list. So eventually that'll happen. But I can doing demos here. I can run tracks and play things at the same backing tracks. I don't have a looper, and I don't like looper pedals anyway. But I can bring more production value to the videos. So I'll be shooting everything content-wise here in my studio room coming up here in the future. I always shot my guitar demos in that room because that's frankly where I play guitar at. And but I am arranging that area over there, and again trying to utilize this space a lot more. So that to look forward to, guys. Someone told me a while back they only buy New Orleans era Les Pauls because no one copies them. Any truth to that? No. Actually, people tend to make copies of more 2010-ish and up are the fake serial numbers that you'll see. Like I said in the beginning, they generally start with a 2014 serial number. They recycle the same 2 or 3 serial numbers, all of those Chibsons. That's the other thing, is that I bet you that stash of 50 or 200 or whatever it was Chibsons that they got busted in LA a couple of months back, I bet you all the serial numbers on the back of those headstocks match. So yeah, there's that. YouTube really screwing me over right now. I'm sorry, guys, that you had to search for this. Doesn't surprise me. The man's always trying to keep us down. Well, we shall persevere, gentlemen. I appreciate all you guys showing up for this live stream. I know kickoff is coming up here for those of you who followed the Super Bowl. So I will give you time to get your libations ready for that. I myself am going to bed because it's past midnight here in the Netherlands. And yeah, I just don't care about football that much. I guess I'll see the results in the morning. But I wanted to cover that topic tonight, and I do appreciate you guys chiming in and giving your thoughts on it as well. As much as I appreciate the fact the new and the old folks showing up here tonight and chiming in, it's always greatly appreciated, guys. And each and every one of you guys, I want you to enjoy. I'm getting ready for a blizzard that's hitting tonight. Oh, wow. I would love a blizzard. I'd be frank with you. I would prefer any kind of snowstorm here. That would be awesome. But I guess if you get them back to back, it's not great. I appreciate you guys showing up for the live stream tonight. Please take care of yourselves this week. We will be doing a live stream on Wednesday night. Hopefully we can preview some guitar before I put the unboxing video up this Wednesday. They should be here by then. I really want to take a look at that Rickenbacker. Maybe I'll even plug it in here and strum it a bit for you guys. So we'll do that coming up here. So you guys take care. Have a good one. God bless. Thank you guys for showing up. As always, you be safe this week. Cheers.